Yogis, welcome to your Maya reset practice. Time to burn. Begin today by maybe finding yourself some incense or some Palo Santo or some white sage, whatever it is you like to burn for your practice. And as we're working with the element of fire today, our Agni, we're tapping into the beautiful, bright oranges and yellows, that fiery sunshine, that fiery passion and desire in your belly. Yogis, the practice is going to look and feel a little different today. Our fire element, whenever we work with fire, the biggest outcome or the biggest byproduct, if you like, of fire, you could say, is change. When you light your incense stick, you slowly see it dissipate out into the atmosphere, out into the ether. We're able to enjoy that process and appreciate that process. When we light our Palo Santo, it changes color, it changes shape, it changes structure, and it creates a scent. There is so much change that takes place, and fire is an important element for us on this earth, and it's an important element within us. And today we're tapping into that element, and we want to feel into that byproduct of change, knowing that it's not without a little bit of discomfort that change takes place. Yogis, you'll want just one prop for today, possibly, which will be your block or whatever's comfortable for you to elevate and support you. We're going to begin on a seat, a supported seat in our hero, and we'll just take this one nice and low. We just want it supporting the sit bones. So I like to take it at the lowest height for this one and across the mat so that you've got that beautiful big stable base. So you're opening through the fronts of the legs, but seated in a hero pose, finding and feeling into some alignment. Settle into your seat. Take a couple of big rolls of the shoulders, releasing through the neck. Maybe take a couple of gentle spinal twists, some cat cows, just feeling into and settling into your sit bones. The mudra that we're working with today is our Linga mudra. So we'll be taking the left hand and creating a thumbs up type shape, our fiery flame of the left side, the feminine flame. The right palm will be taking an interlacing and a wrapping of those left fingertips, index finger wrapping over the top of that left one. And with your hands interlaced, your right thumb creates a little fireplace for that left flame to burn. Let's embed the base of the hands into your solar plexus, making contact. Draw the elbows back, draw the shoulders down, the shoulder blades down the back body, creating a long line for the spine. And we're taking just 3 rounds of breath here. The element of fire, the third element, correlating with our third chakra. Deep inhale now, drawing the breath through the nose. Sending it to solar plexus, open the mouth. Sighing out the breath as if fogging up the mirror with your internal fire. 2 more breaths. One more breath, yogis. Deep inhale. Releasing that Linga mudra. Take a sweep overhead. Find the hands interlacing. Open the palms to the sky and send your flames to the sky. And taking a gentle little rock and roll through the torso, releasing through the mid-body. And as you do so, rather than just rock side to side, see if you can settle into a gentle rotation. And as you rotate, you're looking to create a little figure 8 with the elbows, all stemming from the solar plexus. Imagining yourself to be a flame. Imagine yourself to be dancing and flickering in the fire. The quote we're working with, yogis, as you continue with your gentle little stoking of your fire, is time is the fire in which we burn. Time is the fire in which we burn. Feeling into that with all of our postures today. Take a final round of breath here. Release the hands. Elevating yourself out of your block. And you would have already begun to notice just in that simple little flow, the change with the arms elevated overhead. Time under tension. Time is the fire in which we burn. Working through 4 rounds on the mat today, and know that we don't come back to any one component or part upon the mat. So we have 1 round of postures to take on the left upper body, 1 round of postures to take on the right upper body, 1 on the left lower, 1 on the right lower. So we're going to begin in a cat-cow just to release through the spine. Non-traditional cat-cow, those fiery flames of your core continuing here, drawing back, opening through the center and creating some beautiful big flickering flames now up and down the mat. Just your 3 rounds of breath to really release into the low belly, to release into solar plexus through the back body though too. Let's settle into stillness. Tuck the toes. Find a down dog for a moment. Pedaling out the heels and slowly take a walk all the way to the top of your mat. Finding the feet shoulder width apart and unravel the spine, drawing to rise. Let's settle the toes nice and wide and find your Tadasana. Yogis, if you have your jumper or your socks on, I know we often keep them on for your reset practice, but might be smart to remove them today. And as you take them, have them nice and close, ready for our post-practice. Time is the fire in which we burn. Our opening postures will begin on the left side of lower body. Yogis, sweeping the hands overhead just as we did before and finding the fingers to interlace. Open the palms to the sky. That flickering flame now here in your standing position, your standing posture. Finding some fluidity, some flow, and that circular motion, that little figure 8 motion, I should say. And then settle into stillness. As you release the arms, we're going to take a swan dive down. Releasing through the low back, hang the head nice and heavy with the fingertips placed upon the mat. And you might want the block nice and close just in case you want that for some stability through the postures today. That's all we'll need the block for today. We're going to be releasing the right leg to the back of the room. Now know that we're coming back to our quote quite a bit throughout today's practice. Time is the fire in which we burn. Left leg, get ready to burn. Sending the right toes back of the room. Finding a supported Dakasana. We find stability on that left side. We find strength. Sorry, my mic in the way. We find strength in our balance. Actively reaching the right toes to the back of the room. 3rd chakra, 3rd element, working 3 breaths with each round. If you feel comfortable, take your hands into prayer at the chest. Yogis, ever so slowly, we're going to draw that right knee into the chest as you scoop through to rise. Give yourself a beautiful big hug with that right knee. Left leg staying with the load. Slowly extending the leg and take the grip beneath that right hamstring, the back of that right knee maybe. Finding strength through that left leg, strong fire, strong flame. 3 breaths. And if there's any bend in that left knee, try and kick it out to find the leg as straight and strong as possible. Right knee draws back into chest. Give yourself a hug. Slowly releasing the knee down. Keep the bend at the knee as you take that right foot back behind you. And we're going to find a dancer's pose here. Progressing through a few postures here for that left side. And taking the right hand to externally rotate so the palm reaches the inside of the right foot. Left hand extends, feeling into your flame overhead. Slowly pouring the weight forwards and coming into our dances. Kicking it out and extending the right foot to the sky. Your flame here now. And if you're feeling out of balance, feeling wobbly, feel free to take that block for a bit of extra support. You can take it to the highest point. Each posture, 3 breaths. Oops. Feeling into your balance and opening into your Natrajasana, your dancer's pose. Slight bend in that left knee as we draw to rise. Left knee back into the chest. Take your extension, reset. Hands beneath the right leg. Second pose, take a bend in the right knee, and we'll slowly set it back. And we're going to be finding an Ardha Chandrasana. Opening up into your half moon. Block is there for stability, for support. We've got 3 postures this side. Resetting and finding your flame burning strong. 3 breaths. Take your final breath, actively reaching and extending those legs. Sweeping, inhale, draw back to rise, right knee into the chest. Your final posture, your Garudasana. Right leg over the left, finding a single or double bind. Hands draw to sweep, Garudasana. Right beneath the left as we sink nice and low. Elbows to meet the knees, maybe if it's accessible. 3 breaths. Finding your final breath. Inhale, sweep, draw to rise. Right knee back into the chest and release it just as gracefully as you came in. Let's take the hands overhead. Interlace the palms, open the palms to the sky. Finding your flickering, dancing flame. Releasing into your figure 8s as you find circles. Releasing into the legs now. Soft bend through the knees, the hips. Swaying the weight side to side, rocking and redistributing. That fiery sensation through the left side. And let's take one more breath. Open the chest. Exhale, swan dive down. Releasing through the back body. You can take hands to elbows and find a gentle sway here. Releasing through the back of that left hip especially. Your hamstrings. And resetting. Let's unravel and draw back to rise. Preparing to take that to the right, knowing that yes, we feel into the time under tension of the burn, but your left side is done. Let's bring that across to the right. Yogi's distributing the weight to that left leg. We're slowly going to draw now, distributing the weight into the right leg. Focuses on the left because it is burning. Weight into the right and slowly draw the left knee into the chest. Give it a hug, it deserves it after that round. We're going to scoop it back and find a supported Dukasana. As you fold forwards, reaching for that block and setting yourself up and really setting up these stacked hips. You're here for 3 breaths, actively extending those left toes towards the back of the room. Watch that the hip doesn't pop though. Keep the hips squared off. And if you feel okay here, nice and strong through that right leg now, maybe take the hands into prayer at your chest at heart center here. I'm going to preset mine for my Ardha Chandrasana nice and high. You might choose to too. Slowly scoop and we'll draw that left knee back into the chest. Take the prayer to the sky. Release and sweep, knee into the chest. Take an extension, left leg, finding the release through the hamstring. Strong through that right leg. Feeling into the stability, feeling into the support, your stable foundations. Final breath. Beautiful. Taking a bend at that left knee, we're slowly going to release back and find your Natrajasana. Your left arm releases back, palm open, and taking a grip to the inner blade of that left side, your right arm extends. And pouring forwards and finding your Natrajasana. Now you're looking to take the left toes to the sky, keeping that right palm open. Stay here or feel into that stability through that block if you prefer that little bit of assistance. Either way, 3 breaths. Take your last breath. Slowly draw back to rise. Right hand to the sky. Draw the knee in, give yourself a beautiful big hug. Release. And let's take it into our Ardha Chandrasana as you open, sending the left toes to the back of the room. Maybe the right hand finds the block, creating space beneath that right side low belly, actively reaching left toes towards the back of the room, stacking the left hip upon the right. Got a bit excited there with my stacking. Reaching the left fingertips to the sky. Here, one more breath. Let's slowly draw it back in. Left knee draws into the chest, final pose. Your Garudasana, your eagle. Left knee on top of the right, sinking nice and low. Single or double bind, sweep the arms. Left arm beneath the right as you find your sweep and sink it into your eagle. Maybe taking elbows to the knee. Release, take it to the sky, left knee into the chest and reset it upon the mat. Slowly folding down. Releasing out of the legs, take your sway. Well done, yogis. Lower body complete. How do the legs feel? Can you feel that fieriness? Can you feel the burn? Let's draw it back up to rise. And finding for one final time in your standing postures, that interlacing of the hands, sweeping them overhead and finding the fingertips to connect, open the palms, open the chest, and take your sway figure eights, releasing through the core, finding length and space through the side body. Let's settle into stillness. One more breath here. Release the hands, exhale, forward fold. Our legs feeling into that time under tension. Time is the fire in which we burn. Yogis, hands to the shins, let's halfway lift. And find length for the spine, sending the sit bones towards the back of the mat, finding length through the entire length of the spine. As you exhale, soft bend in the knees and take the belly to the thighs, hands to the backs of the calves now. As you hang the head super heavy, shaking out the head yes and no to release through the cervical spine. Settle into stillness, plant the hands, deep bend in the knees, and we'll sink it down into a yogi squat. Yogis, we're taking it to the upper body and taking a similar set of postures or routine, if you like, feeling into that fire now of the upper body and more specifically your solar plexus. As you plant the hands, we're going to step it back on the left, sink it nice and low through those right hips, and you can reset to really feel into this release through the hips now. taking a little rock and roll across the outer blade of the back foot and also the outer blade of the front foot. Let's send it all the way back with the right as well, and then drop the knees. Now, our postures for the upper body ideally would be taking from the hands. Knowing you're here for a while, know that you can drop to the elbow at any time. We're going to be progressing through some variations from your Vashisthasana. When you plant the Vashisthasana, when you plant that left hand, you want to be drawing away from the mat, not dumping in and loading into the mat. As you fatigue, know that you will probably start loading into your wrist. And if you are feeling it, you're better off dropping to the elbow. So I'm going to begin from my wrist, but prepare and feel free to begin from your elbow or drop at any point. We're going to take our plank pose and take a roll over to the outer blade on the left side. One breath here first. Rolling to the outer blade of the left, let's take the right hand to the sky, traditional Vashisthasana to start. Releasing that right knee and drawing it into the chest. And from here, taking it to extend. Inhale, draw it back. Set it up behind you, wild thing. We take it overhead. And drawing back and feel into your traditional Vashisthasana, transferring the weight back to center to find your star. Stay here, one breath. My goodness. We're going to draw it back through the midline. Draw your knee into the chest and feed it through beneath you. Transferring across to the right side for your fallen star. Inhale and open. Little reprieve for the left. Left hand back down. Open it up, your Vashisthasana. And final progression, left foot meets the mat. Oh, right foot meets the mat. Left foot kicks out. Find that extension. We feed it through beneath you. Right hand meets the mat. Left hand drapes behind you. Open the chest. And plant it on the left. Draw back. Left foot meets in alignment with the right. And we find our extension. Hold. 3 breaths. And peeling back through the midline. Right hand meets the mat. And dropping down to the knees. We're going to extend the left leg and the right hand. Take a breath. And drawing elbow to knee. Find the midline. Inhale, extend. Take it all the way overhead to feel into that archer's bow. And finding the right hand meeting the inner blade of the left. And foot and opening it to the sky. Release. Find that final extension. Reset. And drop it back to the hips. Forehead meets the mat, and as it does, take the hands back with you and feel into that restorative balasana. Opening on the back of your chest. Opening the back of your heart. Feeling into that little bit of fire in the belly. Feeling into your flames as they flicker. And dance through your core, your center. And let's unravel our eyes and find yourself at hero pose back of the mat. And taking that across to the other side. And taking the right hand to meet the mat. Left hand for a moment as we feel into that plank. Tucking the toes, extending and finding your long line for plank. One breath. Rolling it to the right side. And take the left hand to the sky. Inhale. Long, strong line of energy here. Taking all the weight into the outer blade of the right foot as you release the left and draw the left knee into the chest. kicking it out and filling into an extension, ideally in alignment with the hips. We draw it back and set it up behind you, wild thing. Open the chest and enjoy that stretch, that release, that reprieve through your wild thing. Drawing it back, side profile, Vashisthasana, via your traditional, and then take the left leg to elevate. So beautiful. Yogis, releasing that left foot onto the mat. Your right foot now extends, drawing the knee in nice and high and kicking that out. We're going to sweep that one behind you. Transfer the weight to the left for a moment. Release into your wild thing. Right arm extends overhead. Enjoy the reprieve. Right hand spirals back, meets the mat. We draw back to our Vashisthasana. Setting it back up, chest nice and high, elevating, lifting, and preparing. And from here we roll back through center and take it across with that left knee as an extension and feeling into your fallen star. Opening through the right side. And square it off, right hand meets the mat. Send it all the way back, traditional Vashisthasana last time. Maybe you feel into that star. Square it off your plank and drop the knees. Left arm extends, right toes extend. Take a breath. Exhale, elbow into the knee as you draw into that fiery center. Extend. Sweeping it overhead, your archer's bow. Left hand to meet the inner blade of that right foot as you open the toe and the hand to the sky. Shoulders are squared off. Hips are squared off. Release, sweep it overhead and draw it all the way back to your balasana. Forehead meeting the mat. Sweeping the hands and taking them back with you. 3 breaths here in your restorative balasana. Taking your final breath. Slowly unravel the spine, yogis, and draw back to rise. Let's take the hands into prayer, interlace the fingers, take a roll of the wrists, releasing out of the wrists, shake them out, feeling into the release of any tension. When we work with time under tension, when we load on the lower body, upper body for extended periods of time, remembering that time is the fire in which we burn. When we burn, we feel into change. We create change. Yogis, let's release out of the wrists and come back to your block, same position as you had earlier, nice and low. Or you may feel like taking it to the medium height. We're going to be coming into a malasana. And drawing into that support, take the feet nice and wide and just decide what height you wish to have your block. And with the feet nice and wide, at least shoulder width apart. You're looking for about a 90-degree bend here at the knees. And from here, we open the chest, draw the hands into prayer. Spread the knees nice and wide. And finding a gentle tilting of the pelvis. So the pelvis tucks forward and it should open through the lumbar spine a little. So you should feel into a little bit of spaciousness through the lower vertebra. Your ground zero, your fireplace here. From here, yogis, we're going to close out your 4 full rounds of postures, coming back to this midline and finding balance from left side and right side, upper body and lower body. Spread the toes nice and wide. Spread the collarbones nice and wide. Take your final breath here in your malasana. Open the mouth side out. Keeping the hands pressed in, elbows high, press into the toes. Slowly draw to rise from your block as we inhale and take it to the sky. Exhale, slowly lowering down for a count of 3. And count of 2. Count of 1. You can make contact. Or you know that little game that you play, or that the kids play. The floor is lava. We're rebounding straight out. We're taking this just the 3 times. Slowly draw to rise. Inhale. Melting back down through that midline. Count of 3. Finding yourself squared off. Take the knees wide. Take the elbows wide. Feeling into the strength of this goddess squat, finding you all the way down. Floor is lava, maybe making contact and rebounding out 3rd and final time. Take the hands overhead. Exhale, this time coming all the way down. And finding the sit bones at rest once more. And finding your platform, elbows back in between the knees. Take a breath. Let's wash this off, spinal twist, peel the hands apart. Your right arm releasing open, left arm rotating and taking the gaze beyond those fiery fingertips of the left as you feel into your beautiful spinal twist. If there's a wall behind you or a prop, feel free to draw a deeper rotation, a deeper release. Allow the neck to come into play. And let's sweep it back to the midline and we'll take it across to the other side. Left arm peels open, pressing into that inner left thigh as you peel open the right side. Beautiful big long diagonal lines. And if you have the space to deepen the stretch, as you exhale, gaze over that right shoulder. Maybe you plant those left fingertips upon the floor for some extra twist, extra stability. Extra strength, extra fire. To release out and come back. 3 rounds total. Second round, we're going to come into a bind. As you release through this right side, take the left hand overhead just as you did before and stay with that, or feed the right hand inside that window beneath the right knee. And as you do so, left hand sweeps behind you. Now you may find your clothing, your shirt, your leggings, or maybe you find the fingertips to grip. Now, if it's a little far to grip and you can normally take a bind, is your seat a little too high? Feel into maybe making an adjustment, and you'll find the lower you are, the more accessible it should be as well. As you deepen through this twist, gaze over the left shoulder. 3 breaths total. Let's release out, releasing out just the same way in which you came back in, coming back to find balance, coming back to the midline. Let's take that second round to the left, opening left side, right side peels open, take a breath. Stay here or find your bind, final 2 breaths. Left arm internally rotates, feed through the window, take the right arm behind you, finding your clothing or maybe your fingertips, gazing over the right shoulder. 1 more breath. Releasing, open, spread your wings and draw back to the midline. Beautiful. Third and final round, yogis. And taking that right arm to release. And this time as you do so from that release, we're extending the left leg, resting upon the heel. Drop the right shoulder inside the right knee. You had to think about that then. And deeply peeling open, this time taking that internal rotation, and your bind can be outside the knee and feeling into it. Now, if you couldn't get the bind before through the window, you may find this is not necessarily harder. You may find this is even more accessible. Releasing to open, so it should feel a little bit like Skandasana. It's a Skandasana variation in your Marichiasana. Gazing over that left shoulder. We're going to release out of this one, take the hands to the sky. And then as you peel back through the midline, let's slowly release through that left hamstring and take the right hand to the sky. And drawing it all back in, assisting that left knee. And find your final malasana. Left arm peels open, but as you do so, draw that left shoulder down inside that left elbow and assisting that right leg to extend all the way out, releasing through the right hamstring, right shoulder inside the right knee, open and find your spinal twist, internal rotation of the left arm, taking a grip all the way outside that left shin, that left knee. Find the fingertips to grip and drape the gaze, send the great gaze over that right shoulder. One more breath. Release the grip. Open and find yourself spreading the wings just as you did. Draw back to the midline and then run your right arm the length of your right leg. Opening and taking that release through the hamstring on the right. Gazing to the left. Let's assist to draw that right knee in now and release into your Sukhasana. Taking it slow. These legs have taken a lot of time under tension, a lot of time to burn. Yogis, as you draw back to your Sukhasana with the hips elevated upon the block, if it's not already at the low point, maybe you reset and do so now. If you don't have your jumper on, now's a good time to pop it back on if you were smart and took it off before. We're closing out our practice today, coming back with 3 beautiful, big, long lines of breath in our Linga Mudra. Left hand creating that thumb shape. Right hand, index finger linking over the top. Creating the little fireplace with the right thumb. And draw the Linga Mudra and your Agni into solar plexus. Draw space between the shoulders and the ears. Draw the elbows back together. Take a deep, long inhale, maybe finding some extra time, remembering that time is the fire in which we burn. Equally long, slow releasing exhale. 2 more breaths, maybe finding a little more time on the inhale. Long, slow releasing exhale. Yogi's taking your final breath. Inhale. Opening the mouth, sighing it out, release. Releasing your Agni, your Linga Mudra, and find the hands in Parrot Heart Center, nestling the thumbs into the chest, bow the head and hang heavy. Yogis, as you find yourself in the fire of life, in the fire of desire, in the fire of your passion and your purpose, know that that which is important, that which is there to shift you, to change you, to invite you, to transform you, often comes with moments of sensations of that fiery burn, not always pleasant and often painful, but always there to serve us. Your Agni, your third element, your solar plexus, that beautiful fiery center at your belly, all there to shift you, to change you, to transform you, and to support you on your fiery path that is life. Time is the fire in which we burn. Namaste.